Okay, so let's start this deep dive. Somewhere really familiar. That moment you wake up, before your eyes are even, fully open, maybe before your feet hit the floor, that thumb is already scrolling.
Yeah, that reflex.
And it's not really about the weather, is it? Or catching up on world events. It feels more primal, like a ritual.
It absolutely is. It's
Yeah.
the modern neurosis showing up before breakfast even happened.
Exactly. You're checking, aren't you? Checking if you still, exist in the eyes of everyone else. You need that quick hit.
That little dopamine rush.
Yeah.
One like, two like.
A comment, yeah. Something that says, good job, seen. And you breathe out, right? There's this temporary safety.
Temporary is the key word.
And that feeling, that sense of security, that's the really engineered part here. It feels less like vanity now and more about basic survival, redesigned by algorithms for this digital tribe we're all in.
And what's so interesting, I think, is how fast that pressure hits.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure of constant self-expression, it just slams right into the need for self-curation.
Right.
The whole online world screams, be authentic, be real, but, deep down, you can't really show the version of you that was spiraling last night.
Or the one canceling plans, because honestly, talking to people feels like way too much work.
Exactly. Unpaid labor, basically. So you show the flawless one, the golden hour snapshot, and that internal conflict, it starts immediately.
So wait, if the golden hour self is what's on show, then we're not really looking at identity anymore, are we? We're looking at a symptom of some deeper tension.
That's the core tension, I think. That's what we need to unpack. We start wanting authenticity, but then we figure out pretty quickly that raw authenticity doesn't really trend.
Doesn't get the likes.
Right. So our mission today, really, is to look hard at this modern identity performance. Use maybe an unsettling psychological lens to explore why the more you try to, quote, be yourself online, the more you actually seem to disappear into the performance.
Okay, let's dig into that. A good place to start might be a core psychological idea. This carefully bit self we put online, the one with the witty captions, the perfect coffee, the amazing life. It's not the whole truth, obviously. Psychoanalysis would call it a compromise formation.
A compromise formation. Okay, so think of it like a treaty, but one signed under serious pressure.
Yeah.
It's this really complex negotiation going on inside between what you actually feel, the anxiety, the weird impulses, the bone-deep tiredness,
All the messy stuff.
all the messy stuff, and what you desperately need other people to think you feel. The calm, the success, the effortless everything. It's like a peace deal between your inner chaos and, well, everyone else's judgment.
And if it's a treaty, like you said, signed under pressure, it means we're always sort of negotiating under threat.
Constantly.
Which explains why the social feed doesn't feel like a private diary for self-reflection. It's much more like a relentless courtroom.
A courtroom, yeah. That implies judgment, right? Constant, ongoing judgment. But who's the judge? It's not just your followers, is it?
No, I think we become both. The defendant desperately trying to look innocent and the prosecutor picking apart every little flaw.
So we're constantly editing our testimony, which is, our posts, our stories, just trying so hard to avoid that one awful verdict from our own inner critic.
That voice saying, you're not enough.
Exactly. Not good enough, not successful enough, not happy enough.
This pulls us right back to Freud's idea of the ego. We tend to throw that word around meaning like confidence or being arrogant.
Right, big ego.
Yeah, but psychologically the ego is actually this quite fragile administrator. It's trying to manage all this inner chaos.
Its job is basically mediating, right? Between these two huge forces.
Exactly. The impulsive, that unconscious toddler screaming, I want, I need it now. And then the punishing superego, that inner critic, that voice of shoulds and musts, always telling you you're failing.
And what's wild now is that old Freudian idea.
Yeah.
The ego is not master in its own house.
Yeah.
It's like that's been amplified massively.
How so?
Well, because that house now has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And infinite mirrors in the form of feeds. And this audience of potentially thousands, all judging your furniture, judging your decor.
Wow. Okay. So the ego's job, that mediation, it's become like a non-stop 247 public relations crisis for this invisible, totally merciless jury.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, okay, let's connect that PR effort to the actual digital stuff, like curation. You post that photo, the perfectly styled desk, the steaming mug, caption it, slow Sunday vibes. Is that always repression, or could some of it be, aspirational, like you're showing who you hope to become, building scaffolding?
That's a good question. And I think that's the tricky part we often miss. Curation probably starts as aspiration sometimes, but it slides into repression really, really easily. It becomes repression just dressed up nicely. Good aesthetics, flattering light.
So you didn't lie about the coffee?
No, the coffee was real.
Yeah.
But you actively buried the other truth,
Yeah.
the stress, the fact you were actually answering emails at 7 a.m. on that slow Sunday.
Right.
You replaced it with a version of reality that's, well, socially acceptable, pretty. You're trying desperately to control the story of your own life by just editing out all the messy bits.
And that need, that compulsion to control the narrative, it forces the ego to pull out its defense mechanisms, these tricks it uses.
Yeah, the classic ones.
Exactly. They were originally meant to shield us from, actual serious trauma,
Right.
but now they're basically the building blocks for our online selves. Let's take reaction formation,
Okay.
which is basically performing the exact opposite of what you're actually feeling.
The gym selfie. Prime example.
Totally. Caption, discipline, motivation, get after it.
Right. But what's really going on underneath? Maybe that person skipped 2 workouts that week. They feel terrible guilt. They're fighting this huge wave of procrastination.
So posting the one successful workout isn't just sharing a win.
No, it's an active performance. It's public. It's designed to shut up that inner critic, the superego, that's whispering, lazy, unworthy, you're falling behind.
And the likes that roll in, they become this weird psychological transaction, don't they? Like a temporary pardon from that inner judge.
Exactly. The anxiety dips for a second,
Yeah.
but only until the next scroll, the next comparison hits, and you feel you have to prove yourself all over again.
Okay, what about projection? How does that play out online, maybe in things like dating apps or even professional networking?
Oh, massively. Profiles are curated like a CV for the perfect relationship partner or the perfect colleague. You signal all the right things. Emotional availability, ambition, secure attachment style.
You're not just showing your best angle in the photo.
No, you're projecting this whole image of emotional perfection.
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping the likes, the matches, the connections, they'll somehow validate it, make it real.
You're showing who you wish you were. And you're hoping someone falls in love with that version, maybe enough to pull the real you towards it. Like advertising, I love deep conversations and spontaneity, when actually...
You're terrified of small talk and feel deeply lonely.
Yeah.
Projection is the ego's little trick.
Yeah.
You hide your own unacceptable feelings, insecurity, fear behind this shiny avatar, just hoping the world doesn't spot the real, messier you underneath.
And this feels like it leads straight into the whole coaching industrial complex.
Oh, absolutely. It creates this brand new kind of superego.
Yeah.
But secular, not religious guilt, but wellness guilt.
How so?
Well, we just consume endless content, right?
Right.
About authenticity, living your best life, optimizing everything. And paradoxically, this creates this huge internal pressure, this new inner critic, let's call it the coach, telling you constantly how you should be breathing, eating, thinking, feeling the correct way.
It's like the new religion almost. Managing that deep existential dread, but instead of confession to a priest.
You're confessing your limiting beliefs online to your followers.
And instead of fearing hell, you fear what? Staying stuck. Low vibrations.
Yeah.
Manifesting scarcity.
Exactly. The ritual is posting about the journey, the process, and the altar. Well, the altar is the feed itself.
The irony is pretty thick there.
It's rich, yeah. But the compulsion, the drive to do it is still incredibly strong. Why? Because underneath all this performing and striving, there's that primal layer, the id.
Right.
And the id really only cares about a few basic things. Safety, belonging, and love. These are just non-negotiable human needs.
And in our digital tribe, those fundamental needs get instantly mapped onto these weird digital metrics.
Totally. Safety becomes, how much engagement did I get? Belonging is measured in DMs, right? Direct connections. And love. Well, love is quantified by double tap.
It feels like a regression, going back to basics.
It is. We learned way back when we were kids, didn't we? Perform certain ways, get smiles, get attention from parents or caregivers.
Make them happy, get reward.
Exactly. Now, we just swap out the parent figure for the algorithm. We adapt. We perform. We figure out how to be lovable, but for the machine.
This feels like where the real damage happens. The true theft. Social media doesn't just steal your identity in one big grab. It's more like it pickpockets you. Gently, over and over, while you're busy looking at the shiny engagement numbers.
That's a good way to put it.
So let's break down these thefts. First one. Your inner world becomes content.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. The last time you saw something amazing, like a beautiful sunset or had a really deep thought, did you just experience it? Or did that little voice pipe up immediately? Ooh, this is material. Frame this, post this.
The experience isn't just yours anymore.
Nope. It's instantly sort of metabolized, turned into potential content. It's raw emotional energy, right? But instead of being channeled into art or maybe a deep talk with a friend, it's sublimated into personal branding.
It's sublimation gone corporate.
Exactly.
Okay, second theft. Introspection gets replaced by metrics.
You used to ask yourself maybe, how do I feel about this choice? Now, subconsciously, the question becomes, how did that post perform?
Your self-worth is constantly being A/B tested against the market.
And your anxiety levels start tracking perfectly with engagement dips? It's pure Pavlovian conditioning, isn't it? The notification bell is the treat, silence is the punishment, the withdrawal.
This constant measuring and performing, it must lead to intense fragmentation, right? Splitting yourself up.
Totally. The self just splinters into all these different personas. There's professional you, and then maybe hot mess you, spiritual you, opinionated you.
We used to talk about id, ego, superego, the classic model.
Right. But now it feels like that structure has gained this powerful fourth member, the influencer.
And judging by the struggle we're talking about, the influencer persona often seems to be winning that internal battle.
It really does. It dictates which bits of the real ego are okay to show, and which bits have to be hidden, repressed, or maybe outsourced to a therapist later.
Okay, and the fourth theft you mentioned, complicity and erasure. Knowing it's fake, but doing it anyway.
This is the really uncomfortable one, I think. You know, the performance isn't the whole truth. You might even roll your eyes at other people's performative wellness posts.
But you still post the picture of the green smoothie. Why?
Because not posting feels like disappearing. It feels like becoming invisible. It's like this weird resistance against what Freud called thanatos, the death drive, that unconscious pull toward silence, inertia, non-being.
So you sell little pieces of yourself for likes, just to feel like you still exist.
It sounds dramatic, but yeah, to resist fading away.
We also need to talk about libido. Our basic psychic energy, our desire, how does that get rerouted online?
Oh, it gets completely industrialized. That deep human thirst for connection, for meaning, which may be used to fuel passions, creativity, long-term relationships.
Yeah.
It's now channeled directly into DMs, into stories. That thirst for connection gets twisted into a thirst for engagement. Passion itself becomes monetizable content.
And then there's displacement, shifting big feelings onto smaller targets.
Right. You redirect emotions that feel too overwhelming, too threatening, onto something safer, more consumable. Like you're terrified about climate change or political chaos.
Can't really post that raw fear.
Exactly. So you displace it. You create a beautiful, perfectly framed reel about sustainable living tips. You're dealing with heartbreak. That raw grief gets outsourced to the algorithm.
Turned into a cryptic quote over a sunset picture.
Yeah. And you wait for the little heart emojis to pour in like they can somehow absorb the pain.
Yeah.
You're literally turning grief into engagement fuel.
Which brings us to maybe the most unsettling idea in all of this. You're not actually addicted to your phone.
No.
You're addicted to the sheer efficiency of not feeling.
Say more about that.
Just being present, sitting with your raw, unedited, maybe messy self. It's terrifying for a lot of us, so it's easier, faster to just outsource your entire inner world to the feed. Let the likes and comments tell you how you should feel.
And if we look at the feed through that psychoanalytic lens, it becomes like a modern public dream journal.
Okay.
Every post is like a dream symbol. Every story is like a half-remembered, maybe repressed memory, but dressed up in a nice aesthetic filter. We see the manifest content, you know, the cute dog picture,
Yeah.
the motivational quote, the tidy
The
workspace.
surface stuff.
Right. But that hides the latent content, the real meaning underneath.
Which is?
Which is the silent scream, maybe I'm so lonely, or I'm terrified I'm screwing everything up, or just, please, someone tell me I'm not fundamentally broken.
You're not just sharing your life, you're encrypting your deepest fears and longings.
Wow.
And here's the real kicker, the paradox of this digital self we build. We seem to be addicted to being misrecognized.
Misrecognized? How so?
Being seen for who we really are, messy, anxious, confused, contradictory, that's terrifying. It requires immense vulnerability. But being seen as the shiny, polished, put-together version, that feels safe. It's armor.
Okay, I think I see how this connects to another Freudian idea.
Yeah.
Repetition compulsion.
Yes. Explain that. It's like we unconsciously replay old wounds, old patterns, but on the digital stage now. If you felt ignored or unseen by a parent when you were little, maybe now you post constantly and you refresh, waiting, needing anyone to notice. You're not really trying to build a brand. You're trying to finally master That original feeling of abandonment or invisibility that you couldn't control as a kid.
And that is, well, that's a deeply unsettling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
That our oldest, most primal wounds might actually be the engine driving this entire attention economy.
The algorithm doesn't care about your healing journey.
No, it only cares about the pattern, the profitable pattern of your pain. In fact, it rewards you for scratching the same itch, beating the same wound over and over, because that keeps you engaged.
So if we read the posts like symptoms, that spiritual quote isn't really about finding peace. It's masking deep anxiety.
Right. And the humble brag about the promotion, that's the inner child still screaming, look at me, am I good enough now? Do you see me trying?
Every tap, every filter choice, every carefully crafted caption, it's overdetermined, meaning it's loaded, dripping with all this unconscious stuff, desire, fear, unmet needs, all disguised as just harmless content. You think you're just choosing an aesthetic. Maybe the aesthetic is choosing you because it serves as the perfect defense against your inner chaos.
Like the whole clean girl aesthetic being repression packaged as productivity.
Exactly like that.
So let's try to wrap this up. This accomplice we have, the algorithm,
Yeah.
what's his real role in all this?
Well, it doesn't care about your truth, your actual self. It just feeds on that unconscious tension, on your unresolved desires, your anxieties. The user isn't really sharing anymore, they're confessing.
Confessing to what?
To this huge digital superego, hoping, maybe, that if they just perform well enough, finally it will grant them permission to stop, to just be.
But that permission never comes, does it?
Yeah.
Because the superego, especially this new corporatized version, it thrives on the performance. The moment you stop performing is the moment the engagement metrics flatline.
So the true theft, when we boil it all down, it's not exactly identity.
No, I think it's the theft of ambiguity, the theft of contradiction, of messiness, of just unmonetized joy.
Yeah.
It's the theft of the part of you that doesn't actually need to be seen to exist, the part that doesn't require external validation to feel safe.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Next time you feel that urge, that compulsion to post something, just pause for one crucial second and ask yourself not, will they like this, but maybe, what part of my inner world, my internal struggle, am I trying to sell today?
Because the unconscious, it doesn't actually need likes. It just needs to be felt acknowledged.
Right. And feeling real, raw, uncurated, feeling well, that doesn't trend, but it does transform.